Welcome back to my channel. I had a lot of weird things happen to me when I was selling my house, and actually, to tell the truth, I got a lot of messages the year before I sold my house telling me to sell it, that something big was coming. And I always thought I thought small. I always thought it was a big thing with Tesla stock, because I was so into Tesla stock and I was trying to make money to support my family, and I thought it was going to be that Tesla stock was going to take off. But I think it was something bigger. I had some weird things happen when I was selling my house that made it feel like I was on some kind of pre-planned path, like some destiny, you know, some kind of destiny was leading me. The first thing that happened, it keeps coming back to YouTube, which is weird, but first thing that happened is I had a neighbor who was a famous YouTuber in my old house. I went around, we used to do Christmas caroling, and I went around door to door introducing myself and telling everyone we were going to do it, and the lady that lived there told me that her daughter was on YouTube, and I said, oh, that's nice, my daughter likes to watch YouTube too, and she says, no, she actually kind of has a following, and I was like, oh, cool, that's really cool, and I kind of forgot about it. And where we lived, we were in a big house on a hill, and we didn't really get to know our neighbors that much. So then one time I saw her walking her dog, and I have very bad facial recognition, so I didn't really realize it was the same person. And I offered her some water for her dog, which I do to everybody I run into walking their dog in our neighborhood. I'm just that way. And we talked for a while, and she said she lived up the hill, and we made friends, and it was really great, a nice talk. But then we forgot about it, and we didn't really follow up, because that kind of neighborhood, you don't really talk to your neighbors all that much, and I had a lot on my mind. So then we're getting ready to sell our house, and I had the sign out in front, and sorry, cat hair, I don't have a cold. And she called me up and she said, oh, I'm so sorry you're moving and we never got to get to know each other, want to come over for tea? And I thought, this is a great idea, because even though we're leaving, I need all the friends I can get. So then I'm watching YouTube with my daughter. We're watching Shane Dawson, and he's going to interview another YouTuber. So we're watching, and he's driving down the freeway near our house, and he exits and he's driving up the road to our street, and he's driving past my house. Here he stops at my neighbor's house, and it turns out she's a pretty big YouTuber. So then we went over and had tea and got to know each other, and they were really nice. I'm not going to say who it is or where they lived or anything like that. Okay, so then we're looking for an apartment. I was going to try to buy a house with the money from my old house. I was going to buy a cheap, tiny little house. But I ended up not getting hardly any money from my house. So then I decided, okay, I'll buy a condo. I looked into condos. I was mostly looking in North Hollywood, because here we were secluded for so much of our lives that my kids really wanted to be where the action is. And my daughter is an actress and a model, and she wants to be where her appointments are. So I'm looking at the apartments and the condos, and actually I decided buying a condo is kind of dumb, because you basically have all the disadvantages of an apartment, like somebody else telling you what to do and neighbors and all that, but you don't have the freedom to move out because you've paid for it. You're basically paying for the right to have an apartment. Well, I thought that's silly. I'll just get an apartment. If I don't like it, I can move, you know? So I'm looking for an apartment in North Hollywood. I find a few. And I really wanted high security, because my ex-husband had been such a scary guy to us that we really wanted to feel secure. We really loved our old house because we could see everything around. We'd know if someone was coming. Well, I found a couple really secure apartment buildings. I wanted a small one with only a few neighbors and security on the door. And so then my daughter, she's watching YouTube, and she says, hey mom, come look at this video with me. I want to live in a place like this. So I look at the video, and the video shows these guys that are on YouTube that have a pretty big following, and their apartment, and it had some distinctive features, which I'm not really going to say what they are, and I will never show them in any of my videos, because I want to protect I don't want other people to find these guys. So I see these distinctive features in the apartment, and I'm like, I know where that apartment is. And I said to her, you want an apartment just like this, right? And she says, yeah. I said, would you like to live in that apartment building? That same one with those guys? So she's like, sure, yeah. But we talked about it a lot because we don't want to invade the privacy of these people. They're very famous and they have a lot of followers, like the neighbor we had. It's kind of weird how there's so many YouTubers in our lives. And actually, to be honest, if you get any apartment in North Hollywood, you're gonna probably end up in the same building as a famous YouTuber because there's so many of them around here. So anyway, we discussed it. We decided if she invited any friends over, we'd be really careful not to have, you know, to make sure they're people we could trust that won't go all crazy on the guys that live here or anything, and they wouldn't give away the location to other people, things like that. So then we decided, okay, we're going to move into the same apartment as these guys, right? So we moved in, and I was going to digress about all the crazy people and all the crime in this neighborhood. I mean, I love this apartment, and I'm not going to move, but we live near a transportation place that attracts a lot of crazy people, and we also apparently live near a rehab facility. So just real quick, there's a guy with a stick that's all frayed at the end because he goes around hitting, I don't know if he hits cars, but he ends up hitting statues and the ground, and he ended up in the street in front of my car, but he was distracted by the bumper stickers on the car in front of me, and when the light turned green, that car left, and he turned around and looked at me with his stick raised, but he ended up leaving, thank God. There was a crazy guy dancing on the top of a wall and darting out in traffic. It's like they have superpowers or something, these people that are high on whatever this drug is. And he didn't get hit. It's like a 6-lane road. And there was a time when me and my daughter are driving down the street, and we see this lady in like pink stretch tights walking away from us, and I'm like, wait a minute, are those pink stretch tights, or is she wearing nothing on the bottom? And it was like she had like a psychic ability to hear me 2 blocks away, and she turns around, she looks right at me, bald lady wearing a mini skirt, lifts her skirt up and shows me she has no underwear on and starts walking toward it. I mean, there are a lot of crazy people in our neighborhood and a lot of crime. Like we used to hear, we were wondering if they're gunshots or fireworks, so we got this app on our phone so we can see what the crimes are in our neighborhood. It's called Citizen. So we look up every morning, we did for a while, and yeah, sure enough, there's man with a gun, woman with a hunting knife, man hitting woman with book, you know, assault, every day, every day. Lately with the quarantine for coronavirus, there was a day where I woke up and there was nothing, but that was just one day. So anyway, this is a very happening neighborhood, but we still love it because of the security, so we're okay in our building. But that's a digression, because really what I want to talk about is the ghost that's here in my apartment. Now, I've had a lot of communication with my dad lately, who's deceased. I know you'll think I'm crazy, and I don't care, because I'm old enough, I don't care what my reputation is, I don't care, I'm not trying to date anybody and impress them, I'm not doing YouTube for money, I'm just doing it to like tell my story. I feel like 2020 is the year when people are going to see the more of the supernatural with more 2020 vision. I feel like, especially now with the coronavirus, there's going to be a lot of dead people. I don't think you need to fear dead people. I feel like most of them are kind of helping. I haven't had a lot of experience with dead people that are trying to disrupt my life or scare me. But I did have a ghost in my apartment that's a little scary, and that is, I was sitting in a bedroom, and across the hall over there in my son's bathroom, I saw a man walk by the door. And that was scary as hell, because there's no one else in this apartment. And he was wearing all black. He was a very kind of large man. It wasn't my son. He was a large man. I couldn't tell, but it looked like he had a hat. It was very a blocky shape. And he just walked across, and it scared the crap out of me. I saw him twice, and I said something to my daughter, and she said, oh yeah, I've seen him a lot. And I thought, why didn't she tell me? So that scared me. I had seen many different ghosts that week for some reason. I think the reason people see more ghosts at night is because I personally see more ghosts when I'm sleep deprived. When my guard's down and I'm more open to it, I can see more stuff. So then last week I was sitting on the couch and I had my back to the hallway where it leads to my son's room, and this was at 2 in the morning. And my cat, Spider Cat, who's just up in my lap, who's right here now, she decided to sit next to me, and I was petting her. And all of a sudden I like heard somebody walking around behind me, and I thought it was my son getting up to get a snack. And it was a pretty loud like thumping and rattling kind of noise, like he was moving around some papers or moving over to the kitchen, but he never went all the way behind me to the kitchen. It kind of stopped, and then the cat looked up. She was looking up over my shoulder behind me, like she was focused on something 3 feet behind me, and her eyes were focused on it, and she was following it. And I thought my son was getting ready to play a trick on me because it was super quiet. So I turned around to look, and there was nobody there. I turned around the other way and nobody was there. I looked all around and there's nobody there, and the cat is still looking behind me at this spot and still looking at this person or whatever it's seeing. And it scared the living crap out of me. Okay, so I get up and I go use the restroom, and I'm like, you know, obsessively studying the coronavirus, so I couldn't go back to sleep. So I decided I'd go back to the couch and continue my work. So this cat was gone, and I had another cat. Just, I don't know where this cat went. The other cat is called Little Miss, and she came and she sat next to me and she started licking me, and she does this when she wants me to go back to bed. And I'm working, and all of a sudden Little Miss looks up behind me and focuses her eyes, and I hear more thumping and rattling behind me, and it scared the living crap out of me. So the thing is, the YouTubers that live here, I mentioned them earlier, okay? They're ghost hunters. They're doing seances. They're always investigating the paranormal. Okay, so I didn't realize it at the time, but my daughter's later showing me videos from these guys. One of these guys upstairs sees this man called the Shadow Man and scares the living crap out of him. And I know that's the same guy I saw. I know it. That totally describes this man I saw walking in the bathroom. So I'm wondering, I feel like this is their ghost, and it's come down here to show itself to me. I don't know why. I may try to ask it why. But it was scary. But my gut instinct is that this is an ancestor of this YouTuber, and that this is an ancestor who's got a sense of humor, like maybe even like my ex. I have to say, when I was sitting on the couch and this first happened, I thought, oh my God, maybe my ex is dead, because that was scary and he's a scary guy. And for a while, I wanted to kill my ex. I really wanted him to die. And then I thought, you know, I'm followed by ghosts a lot. I wouldn't want my ex's ghost haunting me. So then I was like, please let him live. Please let him live a long life. I don't want this guy to harass me as a ghost. But I did a search, and as far as I can tell, my ex-husband's not dead. I think it's the Shadow Man that belongs to the neighbors. So anyway, my apartment's haunted. It must go with the person, not with the place. Or it could go with the antiques I brought. You know, I have a lot of ancestors' antiques, but I've never seen that man before until I came here. There was also a young man haunting in my bedroom, which I still don't know who that was. It was like a teenager wearing white, a guy. And I don't know if it goes along with these same YouTubers, if it's like one of their friends might have died or something, but anyway, I'm really happy to report that my apartment is not boring. And that's all I wanted to say for today.